All right, you ready? Why our work culture sucks. Okay, last year after finding myself between two jobs, I interviewed with a bunch of startups. I stream on Windows. Shut up. Okay? I can't help it that I stream on Windows. Okay? It's just so much better for video than Linux, okay? I still can't get my video and audio to even work rarely, okay? So shut up. Shut up. All right. Last year, after finding myself between two jobs, I interviewed with a bunch of startups in Paris, all successful businesses. That's good. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. If you were interviewing with unsuccessful businesses, I would change my strategy. The creme de la creme of the French tech. A very French thing to say. The creme de la creme. Looking for experienced developers to consolidate their tech teams. All right. I discussed with CEOs and CTOs about their visions for business, project management, and company culture, of course.
Welcome to Costco.
I love you. I forgot to turn off alerts. Alerts are off. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Boner Pole and Juan Perito. Appreciate that. Let's see. Okay. I would often quote the famous Basecamp books. So I don't know the Basecamp books. I don't know what they're famous for. I've never seen them. Basecamp is a famous project management startup. They wrote a series of equally famous entrepreneurship books advocating for a shift in the industry towards a culture closer to their own. Okay, so am I the stupid one, or is it not that famous? Which one? I also don't read books, and I only shoot shotguns and drink beer. Is that a problem? I also ride ATVs or Segways while shooting shotguns and drinking beer. Is this problematic? The Ruby guy. Okay. Maybe both. Okay, could be both. Shape up, remote work, rework. It doesn't have to be crazy at work. Getting real. All the great books filled with great advice. Getting real. Nothing like software engineers talk about hitting the streets and, getting real. Hey, man, you know what? Last week I had to work 50 hours. It was awful. Like, I sat down and I got up and sure I had a yogurt parfait and after they brought me a hot lunch, I was like sleepy, and then they made me work even during my sleepy hours. Dude, let's get real here, okay? The hours of 2 to 4 should be reserved for naps at work. Everyone I talk to, and I do mean everyone, agrees with the amazing content of these books and the necessity to follow such great advice. Wow. I have never even read the book. I feel like I've left out. Am I really missing out this much? Gosh, there was still a problem. No one is actually doing it. What is it? Is it shaping up or getting real? What book? Oh, of course, Shape Up, Remote Work, Rework. It doesn't have to be crazy at work and getting real. Yo, I'm Prison Mike. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Remote work. That's amazing and great. And the future. No, we don't do that here. People see, first off, I've been remote working for about 2.5 years at Netflix. This is not, you can't blanket say this. There's plenty of disadvantages to working remote, and some of them are unfixable. They're absolutely unfixable. I'm on a team of, I think, 12, and over half of them have no gosh darn clue what I even do. That's part of remote work. Right? Remote work, by its very definition, makes it so much harder to, interact. It's just the way it is. And anyone that tells you that's not true, or if you just change this or that, they're lying to you. Okay? We've tried. We've tried so many different ways to change that. Basecamp's advice on project management, it's great, and we won't change how we do things, though. Their company culture, the best. And no, we won't change ours. I actually think that Netflix has pretty good culture, so I am curious what theirs is. Okay, I want to know what it is. Can you stop telling me how good it is and just tell me what it is? You keep using even the term it, all italicized and stuff. What is it? The problem with Basecamp books is the following. It's great advice. Everyone knows it. Everyone agrees on it. No, I don't. Remote work is not perfect. No one actually wants to apply it. Ah! What is it? I feel so stupid. What is it? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every company should copy paste the Basecamp model. What the fuck is the Basecamp model? What works somewhere might obviously not work somewhere else, but there is wisdom in those books and on the approach to work and to life, and a wisdom that companies consistently refuse to apply. It's the advice in the books. Duh. 5-head. I'm sorry, this is a 1-head take for me not knowing this. All right, so let's start with an easy example, remote work. I'm very curious what they have to say because I have a lot of feelings about it. How many companies were forced into remote work by the pandemic? Oh, yeah, that's okay, and realized it was actually great. Not everyone thinks this advice is great. Okay? Not everyone's out there loving remote work. You may have heard of Reed Hastings, started several successful companies, including Netflix. I've asked him many uncomfortable questions, but I'm just saying, I'm also became a remote worker as well. But I think the thing is what he's highlighting is a very interesting point. Not all positions are easily remotable. Some things that you do, like, okay, real talk. Press 1 in the chat if you are a remote worker, and press 2 in the chat if you're in office or somewhat in office, 2 days a week person chat. 1 for remote, 2 for in office. Okay, so a lot of remoters. Huh, very interesting. 3. Yeah. Okay, so follow-up question. Follow-up question for all the people that hit 1. I want you to type 69 if you have worked in an office and are now remote due to a pandemic. All right, so give me a 69 if you were full-time in office or mostly in time at an office and now remote due to pandemic. And then you just kept on doing. Okay, a lot of people. People obviously have changed greatly their lifestyle. I'm that same person. I would be typing 69 right now. All right. For those that typed 69, I want you to type 420 if you've noticed a dramatic difference in how you collaborate and think through problems. Meaning, how often have you just popped into someone in Slack and just start casually talking? Yeah, it is different, right? It is vastly different than remote work. You know, some of my best ideas did not come from me alone, but it's someone else just saying something about their work or saying something about their weekend or saying anything that I just haven't thought of, and all of a sudden, it's a lot different, but for the better. Interesting. See, for me, it's like I don't have as many ideas. All right, so here, we'll do one more. Type 1 if you think you're solving problems better, not because you have more time, but because you are having better ideas. Or 2, do you feel like you had better ideas or better ways to see things when in an office? 1 for it's better remote, 2 for it's better in office as far as ideation goes. Okay, pretty split. This is interesting. It's pretty split. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. For me, I feel like I had better ideas in the office, but I'm more productive at home. So it's like, I'm not sure which one is right. I have much less distractions. I don't drive for 1 hour every day to and fro from work. That alone makes a huge difference. It makes a huge, huge difference. That's just more productive. I have less shit on my brain. I think hybrid's really good. Higher productivity. I'm an introvert. Okay, well, I was an introvert. I used to mix up my words. I had a lot of embarrassment issues. My body used to sweat all the time. I just had a lot of weird things with me, and now, things have changed. All right, here we go. All right, worse. How many companies... Oh, wait, hold on. How many of them used to categorically refuse remote work beyond maybe a couple days a week? Yeah, that was Netflix, actually. And why was that? Because Netflix is a purely senior-ran company. There were no junior engineers at that time. Like, none. We're talking about none. No interns, no juniors, no mid-levels, all seniors. But we also ran on literally 1/10 the staff of YouTube. So we are a very, 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 very lean company. And, being able to work with somebody was a very important facet of it. I would get up and I'd walk to the API section, not go on the Slack channel, like walk in and just start asking them questions. And you can just think about the speed of communication there and the amount of nuance you can get in a spoken conversation as opposed to a typed conversation. It's just a lot different. It was just a lot different back then. Worse, how many companies had great remote work success during the pandemic but will shift back to mandatory on-site work once this is all over? Even worse, many did not wait for the end of the pandemic before doing so. See, the problem is it's hard for me to buy this sentence because I don't necessarily think that remote work is a pure win. I think it's a loss and a win, right? Like, I think there's like, it's nuanced, right? I just hate these one-dimensional takes. I heard all the excuses from CEOs and CTOs. It's always those motherfucking C-suite sons of bitches. It's great. It's just not for us. For a web development company, this is most of the time, this is just not true. Again, have you ever hired a brand new junior person, right? An intern. Is remote work great for an intern? I would argue that it's almost a categoric negative. Categorically negative for someone brand new to the workforce to work purely by themselves and only get stuff from when someone calls in and checks on them. They're not seeing them struggle. They're not there with them. They can't sympathize. They can't sit down in the same sense. They can't turn around and go to a whiteboard and let people go back and forth. It just, no matter how good these tools are, it's never the same as in-person communication. And I feel like you're also doing a disservice to people that need mentorship. You know how hard it is to get mentorship remotely? And even more so, how hard it is to find a mentor remotely. You can video call. Of course you can video call, but it's not the same. Mentorships often are because you were in the right place at the right time. You were somebody with whom totally just worked out with somebody else, and they're just like, hey, let me help you with this. Let me help you with this. I've seen this happen a lot of times. You just can't get the same experience from a video call. I know people are like, absolutely you can. It's just not the same. It's never going to be same. I love remote work. In-office has as many benefits as remote, but it also but just the same thing. It has as many negatives. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. Most people aren't mentoring. Most people don't get mentored either. Mentoring is one of the best activities you can have done to you, and it's one of the best activities for you to do. If you have an opportunity to mentor, take it. You will change someone's life, and on top of that, it will teach you about teaching, which is a very hard skill to have. Nothing is going to make you grow faster trying to explain concepts you know. Really. Nothing, how do I get mentorship? Well, if I was in a company in an office, I know how I'd go about it because that's how I did it. Remotely, I have no idea. The perfect balance for me, working a few days. Yeah, I think this is great. The best way you can learn is to teach. It is one of the best ways. I'm already 9 years working remotely. Wow, that is so long. I love having the academic quarter after work. Just head down in a pub bar with your coworkers, talk about something Yeah, I think that's actually a really good. It's just hard to build that with VCs. It just really is hard to build that. I can't mentor you unless if you're in my barn. You know what I mean? It's always cool when someone you mentor starts showing you stuff and teaching you new things. Yeah, see, it's the turnaround. The master becomes the sensei. Wait, the pupil. What the hell am I saying? Anyways, let's keep on going. The problem with we don't have infrastructure for remote work. What prevents you from putting it into place? I mean, it can be complicated. I mean, I get this argument that we should allow. I think remote work has a lot of benefits. We've already said that. Like, the truth is that CEOs and CTOs are afraid that, again, unilateral bold claims going on here. And don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing any stones here. No, you literally threw a stone. They're afraid. They're nothing but pussies, and they can't handle this, right? Like, that's literally what you're saying right there. Managing a company is hard and stressful. I'm sure I would be afraid as heck too if I was managing dozens of employees. Change is difficult and frightening and scary. That's understandable. Still, pretending that it's just not for us is a bullshit excuse. I like how I used heck here and bullshit there. It's kind of fun, like the HE double hockey stick swear word followed up by the actual bullshit. It's funny. It's just a funny way of writing. Just little things. Anyways, again, it's just so one-dimensional. I don't feel like this is a good take. What I'm asking you, asking is that you would at least be honest with yourself and your employees and take a long, hard, introspective look at why you don't think remote work is good for you. And why would your company be the one exception? I mean, he really is selling this as if there's not a single drawback to remote work. Like, none. Ever. The first reason why companies are, hold on, whoa. All right, hold on, let's see, is that they fear a loss of communication, interaction between employees. Yeah, okay, so this is good. That's not a fear. I've met very little people that say this is not true. Leading to a drop in innovation, camaraderie, and productivity. I do think there is an innovation drop-off. I think it's very hard to innovate in the same way without group. I think group is really good, and I still think it's hard to be like, all right now is creativity time from 2 to 3 p.m. this Wednesday. We're being creative. And then afterwards, we all leave. Like, it's just not the same. Like, that impromptu creativity is really amazing, and it's very hard to create. They are afraid that the soap will stop bubbling, so to speak. That's understandable. The problem is it's just not true. When well managed, and it's really not hard to... I mean, these are all such crazy statements. Does not have these downsides. So many companies were forced into this reality because of a pandemic, but we had told them before. The information was really out there. They are just not brave enough to trust the data and take a leap of faith. It's like bungee jumping. No, it's not. On the surface level, you know it's actually a safe activity. You have a very resistant elastic rope, which will prevent you from crushing in the canyon or crashing the canyon below. You know it's safe, yet deep down, your brain refuses to jump. No! Understandable. Still, it's not a good excuse. Remember, the health of your company and your employees' happiness are at stakes here. You know, there's some people... Okay, real talk. I already know it's going to be pretty negative, or not many people, but type 1 in the chat if you like being in the office for some amount of days a week. Type 1 in the chat if you like that experience. So it turns out some people are different than other people. Isn't that crazy how that works out? We can all be different people. Isn't that weird that, like, I might like being around people and you might not like being around people? I know. This is crazy. I know it's crazy. I know. You might actually be different than me. I'll poll this one. We'll do a poll. I know it seems fake. This is probably fake news. Alex Jones is probably spreading this conspiracy. Where to work? Full office. Half and half, full remote. Is that pretty good? I feel like that kind of covers most of the situations. When I say half and half, it can be a little bit of, it could be like 2/3 remote, 1/3 in office, or the other way around. Maybe it's 1 day a week, but it's something that's mixed, right? I'm probably I'm personally on the half and half side. I'm somewhere where I like some time in the office, but I also like some time not in the office. You know what I mean? Yeah, not being forced is great. All right, well, look at that number. Geez, that sure looks a little bit more complicated. So it looks like we have some people that just love pure remote work. Awesome. And we have a lot of people that like mixed work. And we even have some people that like full office work.